Pocahontas by William Makepeace Thackeray, 1811 to 1863. Wearied arm and broken sword wage in vain the desperate fight. Round him press a countless horde, he is but a single knight. Hark! A cry of triumph shrill through the wilderness resounds, as with 20 bleeding wounds sinks the warrior fighting still. Now they heap the fatal pyre, and the torch of death they light. Ah, 'tis hard to die of fire. Who will shield the captive knight? Round the stake with fiendish cry wheel and dance the savage crowd. Cold the victim's mien and proud, and his breast is bared to die. Who will shield the fearless heart? Who avert the murderous blade? From the throng with sudden start, see, there springs an Indian maid. Quick she stands before the knight. Loose the chain, unbind the ring. I am daughter of the king, and I claim the Indian right. Dauntlessly aside she flings lifted axe and thirsty knife. Fondly to his heart she clings, and her bosom guards his life. In the woods of Powhatan, still 'tis told by Indian fires, how a daughter of their sires saved the captive Englishman. Okay, this is a poem by William Makepeace Thackeray. Let's see, Thackeray was actually born in Calcutta in India. But I think when he was about 4 or 5 years old, he was brought back to the UK. He's best known for his book, his novel Vanity Fair, which describes British society and the people in British society. He's also known for his book The Luck of Barry Lyndon. Now, Barry Lyndon was a film which was adapted to be a film by Stanley Kubrick in 1975. So clearly Thackeray is someone that the filmmakers like to convert into films. He went to Trinity College, Cambridge. He was also educated at Charterhouse. So, what's this about? Well, this is the story of Pocahontas, and I'm sure most of you know the Disney film of Pocahontas, but this is Thackeray's poem about it, and it's in the romantic tradition. This is the wonderful romantic thing, the romantic savages, the Indians, and her courageous intervention. This is romanticized and idealized. This is this Victorian fascination with exotic settings. This is a heroic narrative. It reminds me of other poems like The Charge of the Light Brigade by Tennyson and things like that. So, wearied arm and broken sword wage in vain the desperate fight. So there's fighting, there's a tired arm, and his sword is broken, and this is talking about the Englishman, and wage in vain the desperate fight. So he's fighting, but there is no way that he can win. It's a desperate fight. Round him press a countless horde. So there are hordes of savages or hordes of Indians round him. He is but a single knight, so he's just one person on his own, and he's fighting all of them. Hark, listen, a cry of triumph shrill, through the wilderness resounds. So there's a cry of triumph, a high-pitched, shrill cry of triumph, and this resounds, this carries through the wilderness. As with 20 bleeding wounds sinks the warrior fighting still. So the warrior he's wounded all over and he sinks to the ground, but he does this fighting in this romantic tradition. He's still fighting. He's not going to give up, but he's lost because there are too many. So he's captured. Now they heap the fatal pyre, and the torch of death they light. So a pyre is a pile of wood which is going to be burnt, as in pyrotechnics or pyromaniac, and they're going to burn him to death. And they light the torch of death. So they've lit the torch that they're going to use to light this fire to burn him to death. 'Tis hard to die of fire. So it's a very difficult death to be burnt to death. It's very painful. Who will shield the captive knight? So who will protect the Englishman? So he's now depicted as a knight. Round the stake with fiendish cry, wheel and dance the savage crowd. I like the rhythm in this, round the stake. So there's a stake, and clearly he's tied to the stake. To be burnt at the stake, this is the traditional way that they used to do it in England, to burn martyrs at the stake. And they're going round the stake, and they're crying, they're shouting, and they're wheeling round the savage crowd. And the rhythm to me gives the idea of these people going round and round and round the fire. Cold the victim's mien and proud, and his breast is bared to die. So the mien is his attitude, is the way he holds himself. So the victim is standing there, or he's tied there, and he looks like he doesn't care. He's not interested. He's not going to react to this. This is pure stiff upper lip. So he's cold and proud, and his chest is open and it's ready to die. I think maybe he's hoping that they will kill him with the knife or something else, rather than just burn him to death. Who will shield the fearless heart? Who avert the murderous blade? So now, okay, who will shield him? Who will look after this brave man? Who will protect him? Who will avert the murderous blade? So who will turn aside the blade, the knife that's going to kill him? From the throng, from the group of people, with sudden start. It sounds like she's jumping out. Sudden start, see their springs. With sudden start, see their springs an Indian maid. So from the crowd, suddenly an Indian girl jumps out. Quick she stands before the knight. So she stands before John Smith, and she says, loose the chain, unbind the ring. So let him go, loose his chains, undo the ring that's holding him. I am daughter of the king. I claim the Indian right. So she claims that, I think, the right to have him as her slave. So instead of killing her as the daughter of the king, she says, I have the right to claim this man, to be my slave, to be my property. Dauntlessly, without fear, aside she flings lifted axe and thirsty knife. So she pushes aside the axes that have been lifted ready to kill him, the knife that is ready to cut him. fondly to his heart she clings. So she clings onto him, and her bosom, her chest, guards his life. So she hugs him and protects him. In the woods of Powhatan, still 'tis told by Indian fires. So they still tell the story by around the fire. The Indians tell the story. How a daughter of their sires, so a daughter of their race, of their blood, saved the captive Englishman. So this is a story that's still told. And this is following the romantic idea, the romance of the hero and this perfect love. So, enough. Pocahontas by William Makepeace Thackeray.